So this is a teacher session, but obviously if you're not a teacher and you want to stay watching, you're quite welcome to do so. If you are a teacher, I would really appreciate if on the Slido, which you can see on the side of the screen, you just put in the name of your school on the side so we can see who's joining us over this session. If you've got any questions over the session, then please also put them in the Slido at the side as well. And we'll get onto those right at the end of the session, and we can see what questions you might have. So I'm going to just start sharing my slides now and take you through some of the topics for today. So as I said, we're going to be mostly talking about climate detectives and climate detectives kids today, but I am going to give you a bit of an overview of STEM learning and also the European Space Education Resources Office. HOP Day is sponsored by the European Space Agency and the UK Space Agency and run through STEM Learning and ESERO-UK. So we've got a few pillars across what we do at STEM Learning. So you can see them there. So we want to make sure that kids can achieve to their fullest ability. So we provide professional development for teachers across science and computing, maths and design technology. And I'll be talking a little bit more about what you can access across that as well. We want children to develop a love for STEM. So we have all sorts of enrichment activities that they can access or other programs that will enable them to get a view of what STEM is like and engage in activities outside of school as well as in the curriculum. And we also have careers resources and the STEM Ambassador Programme as well, where students can engage and teachers can engage. So we've got a huge pool of volunteers at our STEM ambassadors that work with schools. So just to go into those things in a little bit more detail. So in terms of the professional development, we have that for primary schools and for secondary schools and colleges. You can look on the website and access those courses and book onto them. So right across all different subjects, we support teachers, both with face-to-face professional development, also online through kind of remote courses. So have a look on the website and see what's best for you. We have the National Centre for Computing Education as well. So if you are a computing teacher or you just you want to move in that direction, so we have CPD, we have professional development for primary and secondary. That we have teaching resources that you can access through the Teach Computing website, and there's also other activities linked to enrichment and the I Belong programme. So again, if you're interested in computing, I'd advise you to take a look at the Teach Computing website. In terms of the enrichment side of things, which is what I work on mostly, we have a number of different programs. So, for example, we've got support for schools running STEM clubs. We just had the STEM club session here, but we've got how to set up a STEM club, how to keep it thriving, advice on careers and how to measure the impact of your clubs. So you can access online courses around them. We have activity sets that you can get hold of. So 6-week packs of activities that you can do with your students, all freely accessible on the website. And yeah, just take a look and see what you can access there. But for students, we have programs for them as well directly. So we have research placements that students can apply for. So if they meet certain criteria, then they can sign up for a program where they get to do research placements and experiences with companies, so with academia and with industry. These take place in the year between before the last year of school. So take a look at those. And we also have our ESERO-UK, which I'm going to be talking more about in a second. But just to kind of finish off our wider support across STEM learning, we also have our STEM Ambassador program as well. So as I mentioned, our STEM ambassadors are volunteers across a wide range of organisations. They support in primary schools and secondary, and also in post-16 colleges and sixth forms. You can get them to come into your classroom to support in activities or to give talks. You can do careers networking sessions with them. And there's all sorts of things that they can engage with. So they're all checked in terms of, in England, for it's the disclosure barring service checks, and the equivalent in Scotland. They all get some online training. So if you've not accessed that, there's, as I said, we've got around 28,000 ambassadors across the UK, and you can go through the STEM learning platform to request an ambassador to come into your school. So just going back to the space part of things again, because this is what I mostly work on, and it's the program that's sponsoring Protecting Our Planet Day. So I work for the European Space Education Resources Office, which is run by STEM Learning as well. But we're that kind of link between schools and colleges, and also other education partners that we work with, the space agencies, the European Space Agency and UK Space Agency, and also space industry partners as well. So there are actually 22 ESEROs in total across Europe. So we're just one of them. And we all link into the European Space Agency Education Office too. So we have a wide range of things that we do. So we have professional development for teachers. So we have a network of consultants across the UK that support mostly with primary professional development at the moment, but we also have online courses that teachers can access. We've got around 800 resources on our website, so all space context. So it's not just about the space bit of the curriculum, which can be quite narrow, but it's about using that context of space as a hook to get children interested in STEM subjects. We run a number of different competitions and challenges. So one of them I'm going to be focusing on today, the Climate Detective Challenge, but we've also got another 4. So the Mission X Challenge, I'll go through each one and explain a little bit about each one. So Mission X is all about healthy eating and exercise. So it's mostly aimed at primary schools. It's also called Train Like an Astronaut. So it's all about using PE lessons to do training and exercises that astronauts would do when they're up in space. Astronauts have to exercise for every day that they're in space for at least a couple of hours, because their muscle mass and their bone density will start to drop as they're in space, because they're not having that same resistance due to gravity just from walking around, sitting, the everyday things that we do. So it's about kind of that side of things, looking at what kind of exercises you need to do to keep your muscles and your bones strong, but also healthy eating. So what kind of things should you eat to keep healthy? And the next one there, so Moon Camp, that is a design challenge. So it's looking at what would a moon village look like, or another settlement on another planet. So it could be a moon, or it could be another planet. It doesn't have to be a moon. And looking at designing that, so you could design it through a drawing, you could make a 3D model, you could do things on Minecraft, so there's all sorts of different. It's quite an open challenge, and you can share all the designs on the website, submit them to the Moon Camp website. So they all have separate microsites within the European Space Agency website, these challenges, and if you Google it, it'll come up. AstroPi is all about coding. So there's 2 Raspberry Pi computers on the International Space Station, and you can send your code, or the students can write code and have it sent up to space to run on these AstroPis, and they get a certificate to say my code is run in space. And there's a couple of different levels to the challenge. You can have basically one that's an online emulator for younger kids, but also there's quite a detailed challenge for older students where they have to program, for example, to find the speed of the International Space Station based on images that they get, and do some coding to use the AstroPis to work that out. So the AstroPis have cameras connected to them and they can take pictures of the Earth. So an exciting kind of mission that kind of links in with what the astronauts are doing on the station too. And the final one that we've got there, other than the climate sectors, which we'll come on to, is the UK CanSat competition. So this is a challenge for students from 13 to 19 that they can work as in teams, and they can launch electronics inside a can, something the size of a soft drinks can. They can launch this on a rocket up to 300 meters, and they have to take data on the way back down, so things like temperature and pressure, but they can choose other things to measure as well. So they might look at light level, UV levels, or carbon dioxide levels, that kind of thing. So it's a real kind of engineering mission that they have. It's just like you would have as a European Space Agency mission, and they have to write reports. And if they get through to the finals, they'll do presentations to judges and things like that. And a lot of these projects as well, if you are the national winners, if you come out top out of all the teams that we have, then you can, with many of them, go on to an international celebration event abroad with other teams from across Europe. So those are the challenges that we have, other than climate sectors. You have been watching or many of you have been watching Protecting a Planet Day today. So we also have our kind of awareness raising events on there. So Mars Day is also coming up. You can see I've got my Mars top on today as well. So Mars Day is coming up in March. So that's the first Tuesday in March, 4th of March next year. And it's a big online interactive day that we've got, just like Protecting Our Planet Day, but all based around space. We also have our Space Inspirations program, which is basically the STEM Ambassador program, but we have people from space industry and academia, so volunteers going out into schools, and you can request them, and many of them have got a space background, or they have a keen interest in space, and we've got around 1,500 of those, so really good numbers across the UK. We do have a Space Education Quality Mark, so if you're doing a lot in school related to space, then you can apply for one of these quality marks, bronze, silver, or gold, to enable your school to be accredited for that. And all you pay for is the plaque for that. We do have teacher conferences occasionally that we run often at the UK Space Conference. So that next one will be coming up in the summer 2025. And we do also link into careers information and have careers videos as well. So that's to give you a big overview of what we do as ESERO and STEM learning. But just to give you some more detail around climate detectives, seeing this is Protecting Our Planet Day, and this is our most relevant challenge for that. So Protecting Our Planet, climate detectives is open to students from 8 to 19 years old. It's all about investigating a climate problem and coming up with some solutions eventually. So looking at space data or data that they can find on the ground, and ways that they can reduce that climate problem. I've got a little video that I'm just going to play through for you, and you can kind of get a flavour of what Climate Detectives and Climate Detectives Kids is all about.
How you can make a difference in understanding and protecting planet Earth? Become a climate detective and investigate everything about our planet Earth and its care. Climate change, but also its environment, sustainable ways of living, biodiversity, air quality, forests, oceans, and much more. New to Climate Detectives? Check out our beginners category, Climate Detectives Kids. Complete fun hands-on activities and earn badges to become a certified detective of climate and the Earth. If you're up for a bigger challenge, complete a full investigation of your choice. Identify the problem you want to analyze, collect your data, and share your results with the Climate Detectives community. Selected teams will be invited for an exciting learning and celebration event at the end of the school year. Visit the website for more information. We look forward to having you on this exciting space adventure.
So, yeah, just to give you a bit of a background about Climate Detectives Kids. So there's 2 levels to the Climate Detectives Challenge. Climate Detectives Kids is up to 12 years old only. So you basically have to just do a activity or a couple of activities for that one, and then you get badged up for it. So it doesn't have to be up to 12 years old. You can be older and do that one as well. So essentially, you sign up via the website. So you need to register an account through the European Space Agency website. You can choose a couple of activities to do, complete the activities, and once you've done them, you just have to submit some evidence on the website that you've completed the activities. So yeah, if you do a description and also a picture of what you've done for the project, as I said, one activity will give you a silver badge. If you do 2 activities, you get a gold badge, and you also get a certificate of recognition. And there's a virtual gallery that you can then share the project that you've done. So that's the kids version, mostly for primary, but can be older as well. The full Climate Detectives program is a bit more involved, but again, primary schools can do it, but it's open right up to 19 years of age. So we have produced a quick guide, which is actually on our website as part of this, and I'm going to sort of take you through that guide a little bit so you can see what you need to do, also some extra support around that. So register again through the website. You need to have an adult register as a teacher or mentor, and sign up the team. You have to come up with your research idea. You can get some different ideas for research problems that we've got as well. So there's more information on that. So you need a project title. What's your research question? And what kind of data are you going to use to be able to look at that? And again, there's extra resources and guidance around how you can access that data. And then essentially you submit that online, and we can have a look at what you've submitted, and it'll come back to us, and we can hopefully match you up with somebody, a STEM ambassador kind of person that might be able to give you some advice around your plan. So in terms of the timing of this, we're in kind of phase 1 now. So registration and planning your details of what you're going to do. Hopefully next month we will have a webinar that we can share with people, where somebody from the European Space Agency, an expert on Earth observation, will be able to share some ideas about things on that. So we'll share that when we have it. And then the registration deadline for submitting your ideas is the 31st of January. So in phase 2, you're going to need to start collecting that data, presenting it and analyzing it, and making some conclusions over that. So as I said, it can be data that you've got through various web-based applications that where you can use space data for free, or it might be that you've collected your own data, or you've got it through things like the Met Office or Environment Agency, or there's different websites you can get things through. So once you've kind of chosen your topic and done your investigation, so you might be looking at floods or droughts, or looking at wildfires, you need to kind of come up with ideas about what we can do collectively to make a difference to this. So it can be small actions to, we're sharing this information within our school, within our community, or, larger, bigger actions that we can take. And then finally, you have to write a report on this. So project summary, your results and your conclusions, and what your actions are going to be. And then the team leader submits that. And then after all of that, well, just in terms of the timings, so investigation of phase 2 is kind of January to March. Then at the end of March, beginning of April, that's when your submission deadline is. And then finally, if you are selected as the winners of Climate Detectives, then you can actually go through to the Learning and Celebration event. So that will be in May next year, and that's held in the European Space Agency centre that's actually based in Italy, called ESERO. We've got a little video that we're going to play through for you now that shows the celebration event from last year. So hopefully my colleague will be able to just share that video with you.
Hello everyone, I'm Isabella, I'm 17 years old and I'm from Portugal, and I'm at the European Space Agency in the Climate Detectives event.
So it's the first time that we organize such a big event about climate detectives, and we invited here talented students from all over Europe, and we were so impressed by the level of these students.
Our project deals with the influence of climate changes in the productivity cycle of the grapevine, and we use temperature data, precipitation data.
Our project was about the air pollution in Slovakia, and more specifically in the cities in Košice and near Košice.
Hi, we are from Roscommon in Ireland. Seamus, Dylan and Sen are our names, and we're all 16.
We're doing our project about the air quality around our school, CBS Roscommon.
I had fun because we had to do an experience like this one. We had to put water with acid, and we had to put plastic inside, and we looked at the degradation of the plastic in the water. We saw that if more of the ocean is acid, faster the plastic is in the degradation.
We got to ask the experts some climate change related questions, and it has been really knowledgeable so far.
We've learned a lot about physics, and also that team working could be really fun most of the times.
Analyzing the data was really a fun part because all of us had to team up and work together, and it was really a good experience to learn something new about even people and how it would affect the environment in the future.
In the Climate Detectives event, we did a workshop on sensors where we got to work with them hands-on, and it was really fun.
They learned so much about pollutants that occur in the air. It was great for their confidence, for their knowledge. Getting outside the classroom, I would definitely recommend it for any teacher to take this project on. It was great fun.
It was really not hard for the students to engage in this project, because they have heard about the climate change and the climate impacts. They got a lot of soft skills, especially because they have to be communicating here now with the foreigners. They have to go around, ask questions, explain their own project. They learn to defend their project.
So yeah, that obviously the celebration event is for the winners. You can see though some of the projects that the teams came up with, so really great that they can share those with other people from across Europe. So just heading back to the slides again, just to give you a few more kind of extra support things that you can access around climate change. We have a Teaching Climate Change online course. We have a Climate Ambassadors kind of network, and also we've got extra climate change resources. And I'm going to go through those briefly with you, and then we'll get to some, if there's any questions at the end. So this is a kind of screenshot of the course, one of the pages on there. So you can access it through, if you're logged into the STEM Learning website, it's one of the online courses we have in My Learning. So it's called Teaching Climate Change. You can book into it like you would do any professional development on the website. And then it'll take you through to this asynchronous. So you can do this course at your own pace over the course of however long you want, really. It's open for the whole year. So we've got embedded videos in there, various different things about how to teach climate change. This is a video that we've taken from the European Space Agency that I've just got on the slide there, where it's actually Andrew Shepherd, who some of you may have seen earlier in the days, talking about the difference between weather and climate. We've got activities around looking at modelling the greenhouse effect. So my colleague there, Mark, doing a demonstration in our labs back at the National STEM Centre about how you can look at how different gases absorb infrared radiation. We've got things that looking at the effects of climate change, and kind of over the course of doing the CPD, you can look at how we use ground and satellite observations to analyse climate change, how we can use carbon dioxide to analyse what's happening in terms of the change there. And things like, for example, modelling the effect of the polar ice caps melting. So a simple experiment where you've got ice on land, like you've got in Antarctica, or ice on the sea, like you've got in the Arctic. What happens to the water level, as make a comparison to what happens when those melt, and get your students to predict what's going to happen there. And then you can move on to looking at that things like the Earth Observation Browser, which is one of these pieces of software that you can use to analyze that data from space, and things like this is just an example image of looking at the air quality and during the pandemic, but you can use different satellites and look at different data across various different measurements. And then the idea is that your students will eventually want to put this into some sort of presentation, and we've also got some information in that CPD about how students should present that information and do persuasive presentations, for example, and put infographics in and that kind of thing. So that course, as I said, you can access for free on the STEM Learning website. Please do have a look and sign up to that. I mentioned Climate Ambassadors. So we've got, we work with Department for Education, University of Reading, UKRI and EAEC as partners to support the Climate Ambassadors programme. So it's basically another cohort of STEM ambassadors that you can use to come into your school to support conversations around climate. In England in particular, they can help you to develop climate action plans that you need to do this year, but more widely across Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, they can support kind of conversations around climate and support in the lessons as well. We do have a climate change educational partnership through STEM Learning as well, where we set up a range of different teaching resources that are on the website, and we can share that information in and links in the chat and the Slido as well. So that I've got to stop sharing there. We're running slightly over time. But I will just look, I need to have a look to see if there are any things in the chat, and I'm not sure whether I've got. Oh, yeah, I have got the right one there. I don't think I see any questions in there for me, and I'm hoping I am looking at the correct one there. So at the moment, I don't see questions. But please feel free to put one in. I know we're slightly over time. Okay. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll wrap it up there. As we're slightly over now. So thank you everyone that has joined us in this Twilight for Teachers, and particularly across the whole of Protecting Our Planet Day. We will be back next year for another POP 25, but also we will be here for Mars Day in March as well. So I'll hope to see you all then. Thank you very much.